Everybody getting stacked up behind the iRacing pace car. And here they come. Everybody heads out for their one pace lap around this 2.66 mile track. 33 to 34 degrees of banking in the turns, 230 miles an hour in these cars. And Mark the Man Dantuma, the rookie here tonight in the Navy Joe car. Don't forget to check out Navy Joe Coffee and get you some of that How to Suck at iRacing blend. Yes, we have our own coffee blend. That's how cool we are. Hey, good evening, Chrissy. How are you? As I often say, before the races here, when they're in the DW12 IndyCar at Talladega, 12 cars, 230 plus miles an hour, what could possibly go wrong? I'm doing good, Chrissy. You better be taking care of my daughters, though. Keeping them safe. Alright, pace car is in. Here we come through the tri-oval. Remember, Talladega start-finish line. Almost into turn one as the green flag flies. And we are underway at Talladega. Greg Boydell leads them into turn one. Pops right on his bumper. I think they forgot to remind Pops you can't bump draft an Indy car. But he's going to try it anyway as they get up to full speed going into turn three. Andy Patton back behind in third. Tim Chapman alone on the high side trying to take fourth. And Greg Boydell will lead lap one at Talladega. Wow, a couple of cars dipping down onto the apron. That is never a good idea here. And these cars, they are bouncing off each other down the backstretch. Wow, everybody holds on. Mark Dantuma gets an opening and comes through. Stu Wright, Bob Curtis, Ed Harris, and Mayor Bixler hanging out at the back for the moment, trying to stay out of trouble. From the looks of that run down the backstretch last time by, hanging out off the back, probably a good idea. Ed Harris does have the fastest lap so far, 41.05. Oh, we've got one off track. The caution is out for the first time. It was John Tobias. And looks like Armando Malgoza also in trouble. He has towed it in. Let's see if we can see what happened. Holy cow. John Tobias just started moving down. But it looks like Watch Armando. He's going to get caught. He gets pulled down and flipped. And a tumble down the infield. And unfortunately ends up on his head and had to tow it in. Greg Boydell still holds the lead. It is worth pointing out, you saw the cars shredding piece parts as they were wrecking, but all reformed. They do have damage turned off for this race. That allows everybody to stay in the fight and hopefully battle for the win at the end of the night. And here they come to pit road. Mark Dantuma, Joe Gauthier, Bob Curtis, Ed Harris, John DeBias, and of course Armando, all on pit road. Armando likely going to be a minute. It is a long tow at Talladega. Chrissy, it's just not fair. I should be there to supervise you. I'm sure with all of you there, you need some adult supervision. Is a little bit foggy for the drivers out here right now. It should lift a little bit as the race goes on, although it is 6 p.m. track time. Very humid in Alabama tonight, 92% humidity. Fortunately, the track temperature is 79 degrees. Should give the drivers a little bit more grip as everybody stacks back up for the restart. Here they come through 3 and 4. Armando Melgoza is off pit road. He is going to be a lap down. If they get another caution, he'll be waved back to the lead lap. Pace car is in. The green flag is back in the air and Boydell is away. Unlike in the stock cars, these Indy cars can break away from the pack. Will Boydell be able to get away? The guys behind syncing up, making 2 lines and going on the march. Stu Wright has really made the march. Stu up 9 spots now into 3rd. But Pops Cramner on the high side. Boydell leads at the line, and they're going to go 3 wide into turn 1. And the caution is out. And it looks like Ed Harris, Mayor Bixler involved. Let's see if we can see what happened. All right, looking at them as they come down the front straightaway. Ed Harris back behind. They are 4-1. Oh, a lot of bumping and Ed flies. Taking a look at Mayor Bixler. Let's take a look down from the blimp. They end up 4 wide for a moment, and wow. Looked like Mayor Bixler came up just a hair, and chaos ensues. And Greg Boydell's going to lead part of the field into pit road. Tim Chapman, Mark Dantuma, Bob Curtis, and Joe Gauthier in. Pops Cramner, Stu Wright, Andy Patton, John DeBias, Mayor Bixler, and Ed Harris all stay out. That will give the lead to Pops here early. Stu Wright now at 10 spots into second place. We see Stu pull this move week in and week out. He'll pit every other caution, pick up the track position, and be up there in the fight at the end of the race. Pops Cramner, Stu Wright, John DeBias, Andy Patton, Ed Harris, your top 5. Mayor Bixler, Greg Boydell, Mark Dantuma, Tim Chapman, and Joe Gauthier round out the top 10. Bob Curtis in 11th, Armando in 12th. And Armando has had such bad luck, hoping that streak will turn around soon. All right, pace car dives in. Everybody stacked up, ready to go. Pops Cramner in control of the restart. They are in the zone. The green flag flies. They're back underway. Stu couldn't get the run up top yet to take the lead. Pops holding on to it. John DeBias back behind, closing the gap on the bottom. As Andy Patton went way low coming out of 2. Mayor Bixler back in 7th. Greg Boydell now up to 6th. As part of the field has broken off the back, including Tim Chapman, Bob Curtis, Joe Gauthier, and Armando Melgoza. Mark Dantuma is out early. Oh, we've got a big move up top. Ed Harris is going 3 wide for the lead. Ed got a big run out of turn 2, off into 3, though he loses some ground. Now he's going to shoot back to the high side. Pops will lead that time by, but for how much longer? They're 3 wide for second, while Pops leads at the moment. Tim Chapman and crew starting to work together and make their way back up to that group. They are 1.8 seconds behind at the moment. But if these guys continue to battle side by side up front, that second group will be able to reel them in fairly quickly. Andy Patton hanging off the back of the lead pack for the moment, as Ed Harris keeps trying to make that slingshot run. He gets the big run out of turn 2 down the backstretch. Pops in the lead, Tobias in second. Stu Wright currently in third. That outside line losing momentum. Out of turn 2, Stu jumps to the high side, but Ed once again, a big run down the backstretch. And there once again, 3 wide for the lead. Well, I would not want to be Stu Wright in the middle of that right now. Andy Patton did just set the fastest lap, 40.89, the only driver under the 41-second mark at the moment. It looks like Mark Dantuma has rejoined. Thinking he probably lost connection, is on his way back out on track. At lead pack inches apart at the moment. Armando Melgoza leading the second pack. They are closing in, but very slowly, about 1.7 seconds behind. Ed Harris, whoa! Ed got real close to the wall out of 4. Holds on to it for the moment. Joe Gauthier currently in 8th, right behind Armando. Well, Joe decided to hop to the high line. See if he can use that momentum to close the gap. Back up front, they're still battling 3 wide up front. Armando and crew now 1.5 seconds back, but they're not working together anymore, and they're wrecking into 1. Caution is out. Caution is out for the 3rd time tonight. Looks like Boydell involved. Let's see what happened. There's Greg up top, 3 wide. Ed Harris on his bumper. Oh! Pops may have gotten a bump that sent him up the track and collected everybody. There's Pops at the front. And just a little tap into turn one. Our Pops does end up on all four tires. But ouch. John Tobias currently has the lead, followed by Andy Patton, Stu Wright, Tim Chapman, and Mayor Bixler. Likely to see a lot of cars, if not everybody, on pit road this time. And here they come. Looks like the vast majority are coming in, led in by John Tobias. Mark Dantuma staying on track, trying to get one or more of his laps back. Looks like at the moment he's about 4 laps down. As Andy Patton rolls off pit road, but Tobias wins the race off pit road and will reclaim the lead. Andy Patton comes out in second, Stu Wright in third, Tim Chapman in fourth, Joe Gauthier in fifth. Mayor Bixler, Ed Harris, Greg Boydell, Bob Curtis, and Pops Cramner rounding out the top 10. Lights are out. Everybody stacks up for the restart. Here they come, out of turn 4, pace car about to dive in. And they are not stacked up very well. They get straightened back out as they come to the restart zone, and the green flag is back in the air. John Tobias able to take advantage of what looked like a bit of confusion and starts to pull away. Andy Patton now to second. Wow, Tim Chapman in third almost had a big run at a turn 2. But now Andy up to the high side into turn 3. A lot of bobbling going on. Greg Boydell, Armando Melgoza losing a little ground early. Pops Cramner back with the second group. Bob Curtis, Mayor Bixler, and Mark Dantuma all back behind. And Andy Patton has reclaimed the lead for the moment. Tim Chapman manages to slide back into line on the bottom. Ed Harris alone up top for the moment. Ed kissed the wall at a turn 2. Keeps it pointed the right way. Greg Boydell and Armando about 1.1 seconds back. They need to get single file. Meanwhile, Pop's leading his third group at the moment. Also about 1.1 seconds behind Armando at the moment. Oh! Ed Harris was around the caution, is out. Looks like Stu Wright, John Tobias both involved as well. Off into turn 1. I couldn't tell. Ed may have gotten loose up top. And John Tobias had one heck of a wild ride. Stu Wright also involved. Stu up on the high side. Oh, a little net code came into play there. Stu trying to get down in side draft, and some net code sent him into another car. John Tobias did have to tow it in. Mark Dantuma should get another lap back here. That'll put him about 3 laps down. As it looks like looked like they were all going to duck in, but ended up with nobody on pit road. Only John Tobias had to tow in because he landed on his head. Mark Dantuma does get the lucky dog. You know what? We haven't gotten loud yet tonight. So how about on the restart, we crank it up just a little bit. When the green flag drops, I'm going to stop talking, let you guys crank it up, and listen to all that horsepower. Andy Patton, Joe Gauthier on the front row. Tim Chapman, Ed Harris on the second. Greg Boydell and Armando Melgoza have the third row. Bob Scramner, Bob Curtis, Mayor Bixler, Stu Wright round out the top 10. John Tobias still sitting on pit road. As here they come out of turn 4. Pace car dives in. And y'all get your hands on the volume knob. Get ready to crank it up. As here they come into the zone, the green flag flies. Crank it up, y'all. They are definitely flying around here tonight. Andy Patton still in control up front, but that outside line is, whoa! Big wreck on the backstretch, caution! And somebody is hung up in the fence, and a couple of cars are breakdancing. Bob Curtis, Armando Malgoza, Stu Wright, Joe Gauthier, and Ed Harris all involved. All right, let's see what happened as they came out of turn 2. Bob Curtis back behind. He just couldn't avoid it. Wow, and Bob is the one that got stuck in the fence. Taking a look at Ed Harris. He's right on Tim Chapman's bumper as they come out of 2. Shoots it up to the high side. Chapman tries coming up the track, but Ed was already there. Joe Gauthier also right with that group. There you see the incident where it started, and Joe, wow. Joe had a rough ride on his head and a whole lot of spinning. Hope he wasn't in VR. He'll be sick right now. Bob Curtis, Joe Gauthier, Ed Harris all had to tow it in. John Tobias is back out on track and should be in the lucky dog position. It looks like Tobias and Dantuma got a wave around as they close back in on the pack. That'll put Tobias just 1 lap down, and I believe Dantuma 2 laps down. Andy Patton once again in control. All right, here they come. Out of turn 4. Pace car about to dive in. Andy Patton in control on the restart. Through the tri-oval. And into the restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. Andy Patton is away as Ed Harris is rolling off pit road. Joe Gauthier also back out. And already 3 wide out of turn 2 down the backstretch. Stu Wright has a big run. He's got help from Pops up top. Now Pops is going to the 3rd lane. Out of turn 4, 3 wide for the lead. Stu loses a little bit of ground in the middle, has no help. And Greg Boydell leads at the line. Now Stu getting some momentum through 1 and 2. Whoa, whoa, whoa! And now Stu is airborne. And Dan Tuma flies. Mayor Bixler also catching a piece of it. Andy Patton, Mark Dantuma, Stu Wright, Mayor Bixler, all involved. Let's take another look. There's Stu in the middle. And look like Stu just comes down, gets to Tim Chapman's nose. And wow, Mark Dantuma got some big air. There's Dantuma back behind. He had lost a little bit of ground on the restart. He goes low, tries to avoid it, but sometimes you just can't go low enough. Ed Harris, Bob Curtis, Joe Gauthier, all getting wave rounds, as is Mark Dantuma, trying to get everybody back to the lead lap with less than 10 to go. And it looks like Andy Patton, who was involved, is out of the race. Greg Boydell still in the lead. Pops in 2nd. Tim Chapman in 3rd. Armando in 4th. Stu Wright in 5th. As Ed Harris back on the lead lap. Bob Curtis will be back on the lead lap. Maybe. Bob Curtis, Mark Dantuma, the last two not on the lead lap. As Joe Gauthier and Ed Harris got their wave rounds. And there they go. Bob Curtis and Mark Dantuma have been waved back to the lead lap. So the 11 remaining cars will all be on the lead lap and all be in the fight. Well, folks, it's been a bit on the wild side so far tonight, but everybody's back on the lead lap and things about to heat up. Worth noting, Kelly Wheeler, who won at Lernerville, is not in the race tonight, so we will not see the sweep tonight. Lights go out on the pace car. Everybody stacks back up for the restart. But Ed Harris, Joe Gauthier, Mark Dantuma, and Bob Curtis will line up single file at the back due to the wave rounds. They will restart with just over 5 laps to go here at Talladega. It's going to be a dogfight to the end. All right, here they come. Pace car ducks back to pit road. Into the restart zone. They get the green flag. 5 laps to go at Talladega. Greg Boydell clears immediately. Hobbs Cramner quickly shoots up to the high side. Tim Chapman now back up in the fight. The pack splits in half. Mayor Bixler back in 6. Here comes Dan Tuma side by side with Ed Harris. Dan Tuma, big run on the bottom. A lot of bumping going on in the lead pack as Pops has the nose ahead, and Pops leads it at the line. 4 to go. Pops able to move down right in front of Stu. Stu gets a big run through 1 and 2, jumps to the high side, and the bottom opens up. Boydell goes in. 4 wide for the lead. Wow. 4 wide at 230 miles an hour. Back down to 2 wide, just Boydell and Pops. Stu Wright, though, is going to go back to the outside. And here they come, 3 to go. Now just 3 wide for the lead. Tim Chapman looking for somewhere to cut in. Same for Tobias, back behind. The caution is out, a problem behind. Looks like Mayor Bixler and Ed Harris involved. We will get a green-white checkered. Let's see what happened. Alright, this is that group back behind. Man, they were battling for every spot. Nothing Bixler could do there. He was underneath. Ed Harris there in the middle. Oh! Ed tries to cut down, but Bixler is there. It got really tight in that group. So we will go to a green-white checkered finish, a 2-lap battle. All 11 cars still on the lead lap. How many will duck in to get fresh tires, I wonder? Looks like everybody is staying out. If I was those two at the back, I would have gone in. Any advantage this late in the race, especially when you're that far back, is huge. And the lights go out on the pace car. Greg Boydell and Pops Cramner have the front row. Tim Chapman, Stu Wright on the second row. John Tobias, Armando Melgoza on the third row. Mark Dantuma, Joe Gauthier on the fourth. Bob Curtis, Mayor Bixler round out the top 10. Ed Harris starts in 11th. Both of these guys at the back have been fast all night, but can they get through the field? Or can Mark Dantuma in his rookie race make it to the podium? Or will Bill's prediction come through and John Tobias pull it off tonight? It definitely promises to be a very exciting and eventful final 2 laps. All right, the pace car dives in. Could be the final time for him. Boydell in control on the restart. And here they come. The green flag is back in the air. Boydell is away, and he opened the door. Tim Chapman working on second. John Tobias on the move, right behind him. Mark Dantuma has made his way up into 5th. Stu Wright, Joe Gauthier closing back in as, whoa! A lot of bumping going on. Greg Boydell still has the lead out of turn 4. Chapman has a run up top. And here they come. The white flag flies one more time around at Talladega. Boydell has the lead for the moment. Pops on his bumper. They get turned. And it's Dan Tuma to the lead. Tim Chapman now on the high side. They're 3 wide for the lead. Ed Harris up top. They're wrecking back behind. It comes down to 3 cars. Dan Tuma leads them out of 4. Down the front straightaway, it's going to be close. Mark Dan Tuma wins his rookie race at Talladega. Well, I did tell you it'd be an eventful 2 laps. Ed Harris coming home in second from 11th on the restart. And Stu Wright started the race in 12th, comes home in 3rd. Let's see if we can see a little bit of that last lap chaos. And a lot of cars caught up in that. All right, here we go. Oh, wow. A lot of bumping. Looked like Chapman tried to go way low. Yeah, Chapman way down on the bottom, and they all come together. Wow. Anybody need any sheet metal? We'll talk to our top 3 here in just a second, but folks, don't forget tomorrow night at 9 Eastern, C12 Motorsports takes to the track in the Gen 4 series. We're in for quite a show, as always. Let's talk to our top 3. We'll start with our winner, Mark the Man Dan Tuma. Mark, you went from losing connection, going 4 laps down to victory lane.
Yes, the heavens kind of parted for me and just kind of handed that one off to me.
It definitely was close. Coming out of turn 4, did you think you had it? Because there were guys attacking up top, and it was very close at the line.
I saw that outside line had a run, and I didn't know if I was gonna make it to the start-finish line ahead of them. But I want to thank Master Avenger for sponsoring this series, and of course Navy Joe Coffee for jumping on board with me this year.
Oh man, great job, great win in your rookie race. I'm sure we'll see a lot more.
Yep. Now I just got to work on the dirt, see if I can do a little better there.
Well, keep practicing, man. Great job tonight.
Thanks, Doug.
Ed Harris comes home in second. Ed, you restarted in 11th place, and you come home in second, and man, it was close at times.
That was pretty hairy. I just had to close my eyes and hope for the best at one point.
Sometimes in those situations, all you can do is close your eyes and hope for the best, man. You went up there 3 wide, coming to the white flag, and I really thought, the way everybody was moving around, that I didn't think you'd make it up top, but you made it work.
That makes 2 of us, Doug.
Well, man, a great job and a great comeback, too, tonight. Congratulations. Is there anybody you'd like to thank?
Thanks. Yeah, we got to thank the Master Vector for the sign, and I want to thank you for everything you do for this as well.
Oh, great job tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you, Doug.
Does not look like Stu Wright is available We'll try and get a word with him next week. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope everybody had as much fun as we did. Don't forget, tomorrow night, C12 Motorsports, 9 Eastern. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and YouTube. Thank you guys so much for being here. Have a great night, everybody.